Hi class, and welcome to lesson 4, fractions and unit conversions. I just want to start off this video by saying great job to everyone on using spreadsheets. It's fun to see everybody's different capabilities. I know for a lot of you this is maybe the first time that you're using a spreadsheet, and for some of you, you may have been using spreadsheets for years. So what I'd encourage, if you have been using them for a long time and you're really familiar with them, and make sure that as you're at your gathering, as you hear of other people that maybe are struggling with it, to give them a few pointers and really walk them through. Spreadsheets are a great tool that you can use not just to track your expenses, but if you learn Excel or any of the spreadsheet programs out there, you know, it's something you can really use in your job. It's pretty readily used in, I think, almost all jobs. A lot of the programs, you know, Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. So it's a great tool to learn, not just for this class, but for also your future career. So this week we're talking about fractions and unit conversions. There's a couple of videos out there. Feel free to watch those. They're about just over an hour long. There's 2 videos, one on each section. Watch those prior to doing these the assignments this week. For the portfolio project this week, you're going to be asked to do what's called visual charts, and you can read the descriptions on what that is. And there's always a little bit of confusion on these as to whether or not you're supposed to take a picture or scan the visual chart and send it in. But after you complete your visual charts, it's really a tool for you to help you study. You just take a quiz saying whether or not you did it. And then the final thing for this week, and it's a biggie, is we have our first exam. So this exam is going to cover what we've learned so far, the first 3 sections of this class, and including this week's. So I know the first week of class there wasn't a whole lot of material there. So basically the last lesson 2, lesson 3, and lesson 4 is what's going to mainly be covered on the exam. A little bit about the exam, just some pointers. First off, use your quizzes to really be able to study. That's what a lot of the exam questions are pulled from. Some of them are exactly the same ones as in your quizzes, but a lot of them are very similar in terms of the wording and how you would set them up. Maybe the numbers are different from what they were in your previous quizzes, but very similar to the quizzes. So I'd use your quizzes as a tool to go back and study and then take that exam. A couple other pointers. I mentioned that you'll be doing the visual charts this week. Really get those done before you take the exam. They're a great tool to help you study for the exam. On the exam, we don't allow notes or cheat sheet or anything like that, but when you make those visual charts, it's almost like you are making your notes or a cheat sheet, but then you don't get to use it on the exam. But by making those, it really helps you study. And the last thing for the exam is to allow yourself ample time to complete it. You don't want to try and take the exam, you know, an hour before it closes, because what if you get hung up on some problems, or, you know, if you're knowing you're going to have to leave soon, don't try and rush the exam. You'll end up making maybe a simple error. You may think you know it, and then you go and you hit submit, and it's like, oh man, I missed 1 or 2 problems, and oh, I know how to do those. Well, if you just allow yourself enough time to take the exam and then go back before you hit the submit button, just maybe double check your answers, make sure you didn't select something or just overlooked a simple thing, and then, you know, really allow yourself some time to be able to take those. I can't really tell you how long it'll take. Everybody's different, so just allow yourself some time to do that. And, and that's it for the coursework this week. A couple of other side notes that I wanted to point out. If you're seeing an error in the calculated grade in the grade book, or for seeing what your grade is, that's because it takes a few weeks before it'll give you what your current grade is. And the reason why is because if you remember back to the syllabus, you get an added 5% if you're above 90% in the citizenship category. So after 1 or 2 weeks, it really doesn't have enough data to calculate that. So I think it's either this week or next week that you'll finally start seeing that calculated grade. But if you see that, just know that that's what it is. And then the last thing is that you should have received an email from our course tutor. Her name is Brianna, and I'll post below this video, I'll have a link to her email. and really utilize the tutor. You can also utilize the tutoring center, but Brianna is the tutor assigned to this particular class. So, you know, feel free to reach out to her like you would to me with questions on problems, and she'll be timely in responding to those questions that you have. Now, one thing that you may want to use her for this week is maybe some exam prep, or after you take the exam, if you would like to retake the exam, that is an option. But prior to retaking the exam, you need to either meet with a tutor or myself before I can reopen that exam for you. So if you take your exam and you're not happy with your score, then reach out to her. Also, this is one thing I forgot to mention in the exam part. You do need to score above a 75% on the exam in order to not have to retake it. Pathway wants you to really, they want to encourage students to do well in the exams, and so there's in the syllabus, if you remember, if you score below a 75%, you're actually going to be given a 0% until you retake that exam at least once. So if you get below a 75%, reach out to me. Just let me know, hey, I scored below 75, I'm going to need to retake the test, and then I'll ask you what you'd like to do. If you'd like to meet with me, or if you'd like to meet with Brianna, we can go over the problems that you missed, and then I'll reopen that exam. So if you have any questions on retakes and stuff, just reach out, post them in the discussion board for this week, and I'll make sure I answer those. So that's all I have for this week. I hope you all had a great weekend, and have a great week. Talk to you later.